killed 4 Americans in Benghazi, Libya. Then Representative Trey Gowdy, who led the Benghazi hearings, explained, quote, I can get more information in a 5-hour deposition than I can in 5 minutes of listening to a colleague ask questions in committee hearings. End of quote. This was what Trey Gowdy said back then. Continuing, Schiff has said the Democrats plan to release the transcripts of the interviews they have conducted at the conclusion of this stage of the inquiry. While the specifics of the testimony are not known, the opening statements by some witnesses that have been released to the press and accounts by Democrats on the committee have begun to corroborate the view that Trump pursued a quid pro quo arrangement with Ukraine's government. Representative Ted Lieu, Democrat, California, told reporters, quote, you had a number of Republican members who were not on the committees of jurisdiction try to go into the SCIF area. They also brought their cell phones, which is a violation. They violated House rules by trying to crash committees which they don't sit on. All of this is an attack right on the investigation. End of quote. Schiff, the target of Trump and his GOP supporters, told NBC News that the president's supporters in Congress mounted their protests, which resulted in a 5-hour delay because they sensed that the inquiry is not trending in Trump's favor. Schiff said, quote, clearly the White House was devastated by yesterday's testimony, and these witnesses have been willing to defy the administration and follow the law and come testify. So the president's allies are trying to stop them through other means, but they won't be successful. End of quote. The invasion by the squad, consisting overwhelmingly of white men in dark suits, recalled the infamous Brooks Brothers riot of November 2000, in which Republican functionaries stormed an office in Miami to stop a manual recount of presidential ballots, helping to ensure the election of George W. Bush.
Squad?
Yeah.
Squad?
Yeah.
Is that what we call brown shirts now? A squad?
Yeah. The Brooks Brothers riot. Trump has labeled the inquiry a coup attempt, a witch hunt, and a lynching. And many of the Republicans who participated in Wednesday's disruption have echoed him, blasting Democrats for conducting their questioning away from television cameras. Such complaints are not uncommon in Washington. In 2017, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell offered a now infamous rejoinder to Democrats who protested that Republicans had passed a sweeping tax reform bill in the middle of the night that included provisions they were not allowed to read. McConnell at the time said, quote, you complain about process when you're losing. End of quote. You complain about process when you're losing.
Well,
which that leads to Trump. So the out of the mouths of old turtles comes the truth. Because your boy is losing, Mitch.
Somewhere?
Your boy is losing, Mitch. Let me just tell you.
Of old turtles. Isn't that Proverbs 19:19 or 2019? Proverbs 20:19.
Thou shalt not storm a briefing room, Leviticus. God. Yeah, maybe we need to get
we're laughing, but Mother Nature. Mother Nature. We need Mother Nature. We need Mother Democracy. We need people to realize you can't pull this stuff and keep a functional government called democracy going.
We need some common sense is what we need. Common sense isn't common anymore.
You can't stiff-arm subpoenas. You can't do whatever the hell you want, Trump. You can't do it. There is a set of laws and government procedure and a thing called checks and balances.
Yeah.
Not in his world.
Of course, but we don't see that. Not here. It's just unreal, Jack. I swear. All right. Well, I tell you what.
Do we have some winners this week to talk about?
Well, we do have some people to talk about, but we have to play the appropriate music.
Stop. Hammer time.
Oh, yeah, it's hammer time. It's time to drop the hammer on the douchebag of the week, and we've got 2 winners of the award this week. Every time we have 2 winners, we also have to play this clip.
The double douche.
The double douche. Ladies and gentlemen, Wade Garrett. Exactly right. Winner number 1, this is from WVLT Television, Knoxville, Tennessee. Out of Sevier County, Tennessee, the woman who stormed out of a Sevier County Commission meeting following comments made by a member of the commission spoke to WVLT News about her recent reaction on Tuesday, October 22nd. Commissioner Warren Hurst took the floor on October 21st to speak about the commission's pending vote on becoming a gun sanctuary city. Hurst said, quote, "It's time we wake up, people. It's time. It's past time." End of quote. Hurst also voiced his opinions on other topics. Quote, "We got a queer running for president, if that ain't about as ugly as you can get. Look, what we got running for president in the Democratic Party. We can go over here to Haas's jail," that's Sevier County Sheriff Haas, "and get better people out of there than those running for Democratic to be president of the United States." End of quote. WVLT News was at the meeting and observed as one woman stood up and replied to Hurst. She said, quote, "Excuse me, this is not professional. This is bullshit." End of quote. The woman left the meeting.
Unbelievable.
That woman, Sarah Thompson, spoke to WVLT News on Tuesday, October 22nd. She told them, quote, "County commissioners need to remember that when they're elected, they need to represent everyone. This should serve as a reminder to all county commissioners to have more respect for each other and their constituents." End of quote. She also said officials, quote, "represent those who don't love, look, or vote like they do." End of quote. She said Hurst's homophobic comments left her angry. Quote, "I was actually incensed. I think that was a very demeaning and nasty thing to even talk about." End of quote.
Yeah, but it's typical out of the cesspool of the conservative and fundamentalist idiocy that just lays there like moss south of the Mason-Dixon line. It's incredible that we have that kind of 21st century hatred and disgust. I mean, this guy is no progressive, all right? But it's no issue what his sexual proclivity is. None whatsoever. But to these Confederate flag-waving guys, that's the only issue they know of. If they're queer, or if they don't like the military, or they don't go to NASCAR, or they don't drink Billy beer, they don't have fundamental, basic political understanding. So they retreat to the most crazy, idiotic rubric.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, don't impugn the name of Billy Beer, because at least Jimmy Carter was a Democrat. Well, I would use moonshine.
All I know is I listen to a country western station
corn squeezins, Jack.
And this is what they talk about. They're country boys that love their pickup truck and they love drinking beer on Saturday, but they love going to church on Sunday. They got their whole life game plan right in front of you. And out of that milieu comes comments like this.
Let me continue. Thompson, the chair for the Sevier County Democrats, said she showed up at the Monday night meeting as a private citizen. Thompson said she was one of two people present protesting the county's proposal to become a gun sanctuary. Thompson described Hurst's comments as bullying and retaliatory in nature. However, Thompson did not call for his resignation. Hurst made another comment during the meeting about the state of white male rights in the country. Here's what else he said, quote, "I'm not prejudiced. A white male in this country has very few rights and they're getting took more every day." End of quote. Hurst told WVLT News over the phone that some of his best friends were African American, but he stands by his comments because he's entitled to his opinions. After his public comments, some members of the crowd applauded. Multiple organizations have spoken out against Hurst's comments. Hurst's fellow commissioner Greg Haggard said, quote, "Commissioner Hurst's comments do not speak for the rest of the county commission." End of quote. Another commissioner, Brian Delius, said, quote, "Mr. Hurst's comments did not speak for me. I don't hold those beliefs. We have an obligation to represent everyone. This type of hateful commentary is not something that is shared or appreciated by other commissioners." End of quote. He told WVLT News he believes the commission should present a unified statement about their thoughts at the next meeting. Delius also said he was rejecting Hurst's comments, not Hurst. Dollywood released a statement to WVLT News on Tuesday afternoon in response to a Sevier County Commissioner's derogatory comments. Here's what a spokesperson for Dollywood said, quote, "We read the comments made in Monday night's County Commission meeting and they do not reflect the Dollywood experience in any way. Dollywood is open and welcoming to everyone every day." End of quote. Dolly Parton herself has not commented on the situation, nor have any of her representatives. However, her sister Stella Parton took to Twitter to voice her concerns, writing this, quote, "I do not speak for any of my siblings or their children. I speak for myself. I abhor this type of thinking, and I disagree completely, and it makes me sad and ashamed. I'm reminded of why I left home as soon as possible when I was still a teenager," end of quote.
But it's indicative.
because there's been calls to protest and to boycott Sevier County, including Dollywood,
where Dolly came from.
Yes,
was born.
Exactly. And then we've got winner number 2. I'm going to mention it briefly. Scotty Andrew and Chuck Johnston writing for CNN. Major League Baseball is dodging another curveball this week after an umpire tweeted about buying an assault rifle over the impeachment inquiry. Umpire Rob Drake tweeted late Tuesday that he planned to buy an AR-15 rifle, quote, "because if you impeach my president this way, you will have another civil war, MAGA 2020, end of quote." By the way, he spelled civil wrong, CIVAL. So there's more proof about the maggots, as I call them. You're dumb, stupid, morons, rubes, idiots. I would use the R word, but hell, I don't care.
This is a referee. He only has to count to 4.
This is a Major League Baseball umpire. It's absolutely disgusting. It really is. So for this umpire and for this Sevier County commissioner, we have this message for you.
Don't be a douchebag.
That's right. You both need to stop being Rube Hickbilly douchebags. I'm calling it like it is. I don't care. It's time to stop being nice to these morons. Because what you do is you encourage them when you don't speak out against them.
True, folks. You got to take the streets, or they're going to take it from you.
Absolutely. This is just more, Jack. It's just crazy. It's absolutely nuts. When's it going to stop? When are we going to put our foot down and stop it? That's what it has to come to, because they're not going to stop on their own. People that are progressive need to put their foot down and put an end to this right now.
Well, I can tell you, Democrats, you need to break off the lethargy and go after them balls to the wall.
Absolutely. We're out of time for this week. I'm Darren Gibson.
I'm Jack Prince.
Please support independent media and the First Amendment.
The stations that carry Southpaws do not necessarily share the opinions expressed on the show. Southpaws is protected by the First Amendment to the U.S. Constitution and is copyrighted by Big D Entertainment. All rights reserved.